Hello everyone and welcome back. So today I am going to do a reading vlog, and there's not a theme to this reading vlog. It's just going to be like, I guess, a mood reading vlog. But there are so many anticipated reads that I have that have come out this month, new releases, and just my TBR list keeps growing, and I am not reading fast enough. I can't keep up, and so I really just want to dedicate time to reading these new books that I have and that I've been wanting to read, because I'm starting to get FOMO because I've been seeing a lot of people read them and finish them and have their thoughts on them, and I need to contribute to that conversation. And I need to focus and I need to really lock in, and I need to just read. I did, however, start and finish a book in the past couple days, and I do need to talk about it because technically I'm not reading it in this vlog because I just finished it, but I do need to talk about it because it is probably going to be, I said this in my Goodreads review, like as soon as I finished, I gave it 5 stars, and I was just like, I know it's only April, but I can guarantee that this will be one of my favorite books, at least top 3 of the whole year. I already know that. I'm confident in saying that, and that's saying a lot because there are a lot of good books coming out this year. And this is not a book that came out this year. This is a book that came out maybe 3 years ago now, and I'm just getting around to reading it, and I simply don't know how it's taken me this long, but all that matters is that I did read it and I did get to experience it myself, so that's what's most important. Yeah, that book is Lessons in Chemistry, and truly I can't say enough good things about this. This is a book that basically reminds me why I like to read and what a great book is supposed to feel like. Not every book is a hit, and that's fine. For me, it's not. Sometimes they're not, they don't always hit as hard, but this is one where I was just even 30 pages in, and you kind of know already this is gonna be a good one. And I read a lot of it on the plane when I was just recently on a trip, and whole plane ride, I don't even know how many hours the plane ride was. Did not look up from this once. I didn't take a nap. I didn't just listen to music. I read this the entire time, and I was so immersed in it. But anyway, a few things that I loved about this, and I said this in the longest Goodreads review that I've ever had in my whole life, was first off the writing. That was one of the things that 30 pages in, I was even if I don't love the plot or the rest of the book or where this ends up going, I do love the writing. The author reminds me a lot of Frederick Bachman's writing, and he is one of my all-time favorite authors. I am obsessed with his writing and his books, and I was just getting the same vibe from this one. It's just a talent, I think, that an author has when they're able to write about serious, meaningful, deep conversations and plots, but then tie in a lot of humor and realness and authenticity, and it flows so naturally, and it's fantastic. I can't come up with another adjective, essentially. So that was one of the reasons why I loved it. Another reason was simply just our characters, especially our main character, Elizabeth Zott. She is such an empowering and strong female character, and I think everyone should read this book, simply to read about her. I guess I should say what the book's about, kind of. So basically you have Elizabeth Zott, who is a chemist, and she's a scientist, and this takes place in the 1960s, which is very important because this is obviously a time period where, women were not as valued, appreciated in the workplace, at home. They weren't really taken seriously, and that is a very big conversation in this. It's in a essentially male-dominated field at this time, and she goes against the status quo. She is I am not your typical woman. I want to be involved in education. I want to be educated. I want to work. I want to do my research. I want to be taken seriously. I'm not interested in being married. I've never thought about having kids, like, which was kind of like just unheard of at the time. Basically the stereotypical like woman who was supposed to be a wife and have kids and take care of the house. And she was like, that is not me and that is not what I'm doing. And women have so much more potential and capability of that, and they are put in this box by society and all of these like labels that are put on them, and they are just capable of so much more. That is her big like mission in this whole thing. And eventually she gets on this TV show. She becomes a TV personality, and it's this cooking show, and she incorporates chemistry into this cooking show. And through this show, she is taking the audience and women, like, she's captivating everyone. She is just sending this message that women are intelligent and they are just as capable, if not more capable. They are like able to do anything a man can do, and you know, they should really follow their dreams. She's on TV, like national television, and she's just speaking this out, and it's like the world is like, oh my god, we've never seen this before, and women are captivated by her essentially. So there's also a lot more that goes on in here, but I don't want to say it or give it away because I think experiencing it yourself is just the way you should read this book. And I went into it blind. I didn't know what this was about at all, and I wouldn't want to have gone in any other way. Like, the back basically tells you what I just said. There is a romance in here that you get more so in the first half of the book, less so in the second half. And that romance was also just so well done. Like, both of the characters, Elizabeth and Calvin, like, they were perfect. They tabbed a lot of different things, like, or I dog-eared the pages, which, sorry if that's like triggering, but I'm gonna go back in after I finish talking about this and underline all the quotes that I loved, because there were just so many, and I really do believe that everyone should read this book. I loved it. And oh, last thing I want to say is there is a dog in this book. His name is 630, which you will understand when you read it. And he is just the most lovable character ever. Obviously, the pets are a character in a lot of different books, but 630 is the best and will be I know no one will be able to write a pet better than this author, better than Bonnie Garmus, because 630 had his own point of view, which was so interesting to read about. I loved it. I loved that the animal had his own point of view, and the connection that he has to Elizabeth and to the other characters in the book that are in the family and all of that stuff, like, he's such a protector, and it's just fantastic. This really cute thing that they do in the book, which this isn't a spoiler, but Elizabeth like believes that 630 is so intelligent, and she's like, I'm gonna teach him the human language. Like, I'm going to teach him words he will understand. She's teaching him vocabulary and words so that he can communicate with them, which is awesome, and I love that. I just really wanted to talk about this one because it was so fantastic, and it is a complete 5-star read for me, if not maybe a 6-star read for me. Like, I know I'll be thinking about this for a while. And I found out that there's a TV show about this. I absolutely love watching adaptations of books after I read them. It's like one of my favorite hobbies, and now that I know that there's a TV show, I will be watching it. And I looked it up, and the cast looks really good, and I'm excited to start that. I'm gonna watch some of it today. I'm gonna go in now and highlight all of the things that I tabbed, and yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, and then afterward I'm gonna pick a new book to start, and there are absolutely way too many options, which is great. It's great that there's choices and there's options, but it's just hard. It's not great when you're it's not great when you're an indecisive person. Fearless by Lauren Roberts that just came out. There's The Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings that came out that I haven't read yet. There's a book that I just recently bought, I Who Have Never Known Men, that I really want to read. I don't know what I'm gonna do next, but you will see when I end up picking it. But yeah, so let's pick another book and get reading. Let's get back into it. all of the quotes that I loved, and this is one that I want to share. We can learn more, we can go further, but to accomplish this, we must throw open the doors. Too many brilliant minds are kept from scientific research thanks to ignorant biases like gender and race. It infuriates me, and it should infuriate you. Science has big problems to solve: famine, disease, extinction, and those who purposely close the door to others using self-serving, outdated cultural notions are not only dishonest, they're knowingly lazy. Hello, I am back with a reading update. It is a lot later, and I have my eye patches on, and I am officially unwinding for the night. So I did want to give an update because I am now 100 pages in. I'm on page 102. I am 23% in, and I'm on chapter 13. So I feel like this is a good spot to give some thoughts, because I feel like that's a decent amount into the book so far, where I can form like some sort of solid opinion. So basically we have our main character, Georgia, who we are following along, and she is originally from South Carolina, but she has been in London for 10 years. She's been living there for 10 years because her parents actually sent her away, which you will find out why. And yeah, she's not close with her family, like off the jump. You learn that, like, she's not close with her family. They do not agree on a lot of things. Her family is very set in their beliefs and what they think is right and wrong, and Georgia does not agree with them. Specifically, the main one is her brother Oliver, who is the sibling she is closest to, is gay, and her family does not approve of him, and they sent him away as well. So when they were younger, Georgia and Oliver both got sent away, and Georgia ended up living in London for 10 years, and she was like, I am never going back. Like, she keeps her distance from them. She doesn't talk to them. She is not close with them. Dad passes away, which you learn in the first chapter, so her and Oliver both have to go home for his funeral. So when they get back home, Georgia meets Oliver's sober sponsor, who is Sam, and he is our male main character. And Georgia immediately, when she sees him, she's like, oh, so he's the most attractive man I've ever seen in my life. Off the bat, they kind of have like this banter thing going on. They have a mutual attraction for sure. But then it's interesting how their relationship develops, or like their connection develops, I guess you could say. So far, they're not in a relationship yet. But Georgia's job is actually really interesting, and I really like reading about it. So while she was in London, she went to school and she studied psychology, and then she ended up getting a master's or 2 masters. I forget what they said, but like she really knows about psychology and human behavior and why people, like, essentially she is great at reading people. Like, she can take the most like subtle, minute, like body movement or facial expression and be able to, she notices it immediately and she's like, oh, that person's nervous, oh, that person's embarrassed, oh, that person has something to say, that person didn't agree with this. Like, she just knows like what people are thinking, essentially, just by looking at them. Like, she reads people really, really well. And the way that Jessa is actually writing that part of it is really interesting, because she's like naming certain muscles, which like I have like taken like biology and anatomy and stuff in college, and so I'm like reading it and I'm like, oh, that's a really sciencey word that I haven't heard in a long time. Like, she's using like the actual scientific like names of the muscles, and she's like, that muscle twitched and I know that this means that this person feels this way. And so it's just interesting to read those scenes. And yeah, the interesting thing about our male main character, Sam, is, you know, he has his own background that we're slowly starting to learn about. He is also a recovering alcoholic, and he is very attuned to Georgia. Like, he can read Georgia really well, just like from the jump, like sees right through her, knows what she's thinking, how she's feeling. And that is like very scary to Georgia, because she's like, that's my thing. I do that to people. I don't want anyone doing that to me. But she also can't deny that she likes him and likes that he notices her. And yeah, so they have a connection that is definitely forming. But yeah, so right now, the whole thing that's happening right now is everyone is home for the dad's funeral, and the reunion, the family reunion with everyone there is little rocky. It's not, you know, there's a lot of tension, a lot of arguments have already happened, and yeah, like I said, it's mainly because some of the family is just very much like, Marianne is George's sister, and they do not get along at all. And, you know, for the reasons that I mentioned before, like, they are just very much set in the way that they think about things and how they view things. And George is just like, I don't agree with that. And also, like, there was another thing that happened that like Georgia was alluding to for a little while of the first part of the book, where she was alluding to something that had happened that caused this big fallout, which we get a little bit of, like, we find out what happened, but I know that there's definitely more to the story. So I'm interested to hear more about that. That's basically all I have right now. Personally, I'm enjoying it. I really like the writing. I have already highlighted a few things. And when I'm reading it, I'm very intrigued. I'm very into it. And yeah, I'm just curious to see where this is gonna go. And I am curious to keep reading. What did I say? Oh, I was 23% in. And according to my Kindle and my reading speed that it's calculating, I have 6 hours and 6 minutes left of the book. So I'm not finishing it tonight, but it is only 9:30 and I am hoping to read a little bit more before I go to sleep. Those are my updates. Those are my thoughts, and I will be back tomorrow with more. But yeah, so far, really enjoying it, really liking it. Okay, I've switched over to my Kindle. I'm on chapter 44, 70% in, page, my closet's a mess. I'm on page 316, and I have a lot to say, but I don't want to say it at this time. I'd rather just keep reading right now and update tomorrow. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, but I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Like, I don't want to put it down. I want to finish it, but I don't want to finish it. And I'm just addicted to the writing. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep reading for the rest of the night, and yeah, I will come back tomorrow with updates. But yeah, 70% through. Let's see how much time it says. Ugh, it says 2 hours and 25 minutes left. I don't know if I'll finish it tonight, but I really, really want to. I love this book. I think I'm really realizing it now. Once this is over, I'm going to be really upset. Ugh. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye. Hello, it is a few days later, and I am here to say that the last clip that I filmed where I was reading The Conditions of Will, like at night, and I said, oh, I probably won't be able to finish it. I finished it that night. I literally couldn't put it down. It was addicting. Like the last 20% of the book was so quick, and like I was not going to be able to sleep until I found out what happened. And the epilogue was really good, and I wrote my Goodreads review like right after, and I like gave a rating that felt right. But now that I'm looking back on it, well, my rating was a 4.75/5. Like I couldn't really like decide. But now that it's been a couple days since I finished, and I can safely say that I haven't stopped thinking about it, I am gonna bump it to a 5. Like why not? I know I won't be forgetting it anytime soon. Like the plot of this book is so complicated. Like I know I explained a little bit about it like when I first started it, but since then there's just, this family has a lot of trauma. There's a lot of family secrets that are uncovered, and like one thing after the other. It's just very emotional, and the relationship that is in this between Georgia and Sam Penny is like very unique, but I loved them. He was so good for her, and he was exactly what she needed like during this time. When she went home for her dad's funeral, I think it was less than 3 weeks, and it was a very tumultuous period of time over those 3 weeks. There was, like I said, a lot of family secrets uncovered, a lot of trauma that was like brought back up from their childhood, and like Sam Penny really helped Georgia like work through that. And yeah, it was just, there's also a parallel between one of the Daisy Hates books, which is, when I read it, there was like a line that said like, oh, something happened with Julian's sister. And I was like, Julian's sister? Like Julian? Like the Julian I'm thinking of? Like, is that right? And then like I looked it up, and it was like, it's the same universe. So that's really cool. Loved it. Like, it was just, I was like, oh my God, like those people exist in this world. Like that's crazy. And you find out like what that Julian like connection like is in this as well. But yeah, she kind of just like threw that in there, and I was like, oh, Julian's sister, like we're talking about Daisy, like so yeah, anyway, the way that it ended, I like wanted to cry. I did like tear up at a lot of parts during this, like especially parts between Georgia and Oliver. And then Tennyson is one of the other brothers, and he has really good character development in this as well. Also, I'm holding the physical copy because I know I was reading it on my Kindle, but halfway through I knew I loved it, and I was like, I need the physical copy on my shelf, and so I went and bought it. And also the cover is just like genuinely stunning. Like I don't even know how even if I didn't like the book, I'm like, would I still have bought it because the cover's so pretty? Like I'm gonna be thinking about this family, these characters. The big plot twist at the end, I will say, I didn't see it coming. Like I think as we were like getting into it, I'm like, could it be this? And then like, so I had like an inkling, but like I did not think that was coming at all. Elicit a lot of emotions out of me, and I would recommend this. Like I do want my friends to read this so that we could talk about it. Yeah, and I'm very interested as more people start to read it and finish it to see online like what the general consensus is. But yeah, I finished this. This is the first book. Well, I guess I finished Lessons in Chemistry first, but second book done in this video, and I started the third book last night. I did need a day to like not read anything because I genuinely was just sitting on. After this, I started another book, and I did end up getting it on my Kindle at first, but I know I'm gonna get the physical copy because I have the other two in the series, so I have to complete it so that they're all on my shelf. And that is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. So I started it on audiobook and Kindle last night. I literally think I'm only like 35 pages in before I fell asleep. But this is another one. It's a lot longer than the other two books that I have over there, and yeah, it's a lot longer, so I am gonna audio this like on my way to work today and as I'm driving around. Yesterday was April 22nd, and that was Emily Henry's release date for Great Big Beautiful Life, and I had pre-ordered that from Barnes & Noble, and I think it's gonna be delivered today. So it's tempting to not, like, the urge to start that is very strong, but I do think that is going to be my friends and I, like, our book club pick for next month. That's what we're doing right now. I am about to go to work. This is my outfit. I have these flats on. And yeah, I'm going to listen to the audiobook of Fearless in the car and see how far I get. I'm definitely going to listen to it throughout the day and then come back tonight and read it. And then at some point this weekend, I'm going to go buy the physical copy of the book so that I can put it on my shelf. Well, I am just gonna, as I'm like driving around yesterday, I'm like thinking about them. I'm like, ugh. Yeah, they're on the forefront of my mind, that family, those characters. That's what I'm gonna do right now, but I wanted to update that I finished it and say what my thoughts were and let you know that I started another book. So that's where we're at, and I will see you. Something happened that, like, I had a feeling was gonna happen, but like just the way that it's like happening it's kind of crazy. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading, but I'll talk more later about it. That's about all I can take for this time. Hello, I am back to give a full update on Fearless. I finally finished, and this book was long. It's definitely the longest out of the trilogy. I think it was 600 pages or almost 600 pages. Either way, it was pretty thick, as you can see. So I finally finished it. I'm gonna start with saying my rating. So I rated it 3.75 or 3.5. I forget actually. Because the first half of the book was very repetitive and not really getting my attention. It was pretty slow, and I almost stopped it because I didn't know if I was like in the mood for it at the time. And but thankfully it picked up and I was able to like really get into it. So the second half of the book was a lot better than the first half. You pick up right where Reckless ends. So obviously if you read that book, you know how it ends, and you pick up literally right after that. I will say there's a plot twist that is alluded to like very like early on, and I caught on to it very quickly. So I guessed one of the major plot twists that was, that happened. I was hoping it wasn't going to be the only plot twist that happened, because I was like, oh, I already kind of guessed that, and I've been thinking about that this whole time. Like, I hope there's more to it. There was. So the second half of the book was filled with a lot of different plot twists, a lot of emotion, a lot of things I didn't see coming, besides the one thing that I did know was going to happen. So I don't know why my neck is red right now. I was like scratching it. So anyway, okay. Lots of plot twists in the second half of the book. The way that the specific plot twist that I was thinking of was done, I think was done really well. And I was definitely jaw on the floor for a lot of the ending. As you could probably see in the like last clip, I was finishing it and I like needed to step aside. I needed to close the book. I needed to really take a deep breath and remove myself from the situation for a second because it was becoming too much. I really do like the way the series as a whole was wrapped up. I liked the epilogue. I'm giving the series as a whole a 4 stars. I think the ranking for me goes Powerless is number 1, Fearless, and then Reckless. So this one was really good. I mean, like I said, it was the first half that I was kind of like about, which I understand like why we needed it. We needed the buildup, of course, and you realize that at the end. But I will say my one issue, I think that was really starting to get to me in this book specifically, but a lot of people were saying this about Reckless as well, was the fact that their relationship and like the things that they were like saying to each other, their banter and all that stuff, it was just getting a little bit repetitive. Like it was a little bit of the same thing over and over and over again, like a lot of the same lines, a lot of the same, and I just felt like we were losing the plot sometimes a little bit. There was a lot going on in this book, like plot wise, and I think I liked the second half more because it was focused more on that. The first half was a little bit more Peyton and Kai focused, I guess, and it was just a little bit repetitive, which I know some people were saying about Reckless. And again, when you think and you look back on the series as a whole, you kind of, everything like makes sense, like the storyline makes sense, and you know, it was very well thought out, and I appreciate that as well. There was no like loose ends at the end. There was nothing that like wasn't wrapped up. So everything came together with a nice bow at the end. I gave this one 3.75 or 3.5. I honestly can't remember. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed the ending of the series and of this book, and I was definitely shocked by some of the things that happened. Like I said, as you can probably tell from one of the last clips. But yeah, finished this, and yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this reading vlog. So I read The Conditions of Will, Fearless, and then I talked a little bit about Lessons in Chemistry because that just had to be an honorable mention. It was so good. Obviously, I was obsessed with The Conditions of Will. I'm still thinking about it. Ever since I finished it, I've been seeing more like discourse about it online, and I can say that the general consensus does seem like everyone loved it, which makes me really happy because it deserves to be loved. It was a great book. Yeah, I think I'm gonna insert some clips after this of like me and my friends at book club, because we had book club this past weekend and we read Say You'll Remember Me. That was our first book club pick of the summer, and so I'll put in what everyone rated it and some clips from that. But other than that, that's gonna be it for today, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you read any of the books in this video, let me know, and I want to know what you rated them. So bye. Okay, what did you rate this?
I rated this book 1 out of 5 stars.
Okay, what'd you rate it?
I rated this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Are you taking?
Okay, what did you rate it?
I rate this book a 3.75.
Oh, you are. Oh, yeah.